So next we have is relation between R and F, radius of curvature and focal length, right? So to obtain the relationship between radius of curvature and focal length, I'll make use of the concave mirror principal axis, and let's say we have a focus here and we have a center of curvature over here. So let's say if object is here, the ray of light starting from the object after reflection, right, in which direction it would go. Let us draw a normal which will help us to identify in which direction this ray must go. Normal and incident ray, this one will be the angle of incidence. Obviously it is a mirror, so it will follow laws of reflection. So as per laws of reflection, if you draw a reflected ray, for sure it will pass through the focus. Even if you take measurement and try to draw, the reflected ray will pass through the focus. So in this one, right, principal axis and this incident ray, they both of them are parallel to one another. Hence this angle will also be angle of incidence I, right, corresponding angles. Let's say this point is B, this point is P. So taking this triangle CF and B, in this triangle, if we note, we have angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection, right? That is as per the laws of reflection. And from this equality, we can conclude that the distance CF is equals to FB. This is one relation we get from this triangle. Another observation from the figure, we have that the point B is located very close to the point P. Since the curvature of the mirror is small, it may be the mirror must be as small as my finger, right? So in that case, the B will be very close to P, and hence we can write that FB is equals to FP. From this one and from this one, let us apply both of them. We know that the distance CP, it is equals to CF plus FP. CF, it is nothing but this distance, CF and FP, they both of them are same to same, right? So CF, yes, here we have CF is equals to FB. FB is nothing but equal to FP, and we have FP over here. So instead of CF, right, we can write down FB, or instead of FB we can write down FP. So FP plus FP makes 2FP, right? This distance CP, it is the radius of curvature R, and FP, this distance, it is the focal length. So R is equals to 2F. This is the relationship between radius of curvature and the focal length. Next, let us see the mirror formula. When the reflection takes place, we know that the laws of reflection are which governs the reflection, right? Reflection happens exactly as per the laws of reflection. Mirror formula, it helps us to find out the relationship between V, U, F and R. V stands for image distance, U stands for object distance, F stands for focal length, and R stands for radius of curvature. So once again, to obtain the mirror formula, I'll consider a concave mirror. I have a principal axis. Let's say focus is over here, center of curvature is over here. If you place the object here, so first ray of light, in order to find out the position of image, we need at least two rays. So first ray of light, I pass through the pole. As per the laws of reflection, it will get reflected back. And the second ray of light, I pass through the radius of curvature, through the center of curvature, which retrace its path, right? See, normal, it is drawn through center of curvature. So center of curvature, the line drawn through the center of curvature, it makes 90 degree with the mirror. So 90 degree, when the light is incident at 90 degree, it gets reflected back. These two rays we see, they are meeting over here. So here is the image form. Let us label it A, B, and the image will be A dash, B dash, and this point will take it as P. In order to consider the mirror formula, we'll take up the two triangles, triangle ABC and triangle A dash B dash C. As well, we'll take one more triangle, that will be ABP and triangle A dash B dash P. So these two triangles, they both of them are similar to one another. No need to prove the similarity, assuming that they are similar. Already they are similar, no need to prove their similarity. And so we can write down for these triangles, it will be AB by A dash B dash. It is equals to BC by B dash C. On the other side, for these triangles, image, object upon image, similarity condition, sides are proportional. If the triangles are similar, the sides are proportional. And in this case, BP by B dash P. Now we know, let us substitute the V, U, F and R. AB, it is the AB and AB dash, these both the equations are same. So we can write down that BC by B dash P is equals to BP by B dash P. Here we can see BC, it represents nothing. So we'll try to convert BC, right, into some of these quantities. So BC, it can be written as BP minus CP. So BC, it can be written as BP minus CP. And B dash C also, it does not represent anything. So this can be written as CP minus B dash P. BC, it can be written as BP minus CP, and B dash C, it can be written as CP minus B dash P. BP, it represents object distance U, B dash P, it represents image distance V, right? So BP, it's object U, CP, it is the radius of curvature, and B dash P, it is the image distance V. Let us try to solve it, cross multiplying. UV and UV, 2 times UV, and other side it will be R common, V plus U. Taking UV on the left hand side and bringing R on the left hand side, so it will be 1 upon U plus 1 upon V, and this can be further summarized as 1 upon F. From this relation, R by 2, it is nothing but 1 upon F, will be equal to 1 upon U plus 1 upon V. So this is the mirror formula, helpful in finding out any other quantity if one or two of them are given. Next we have is linear magnification. Linear magnification means it is helpful in comparing the size of the object and image, whether the object is bigger than the image or image is bigger than the object. So magnification, in order to compare the height of the object and image, right, it is defined as ratio of height of the image to that of the height of the object. From this relationship, right, we know that the height of the object upon height of the image, I'll write down that relation once again here. This is the first one. This one is the most basic formula for the linear magnification. But since we have different type of the mirrors, this formula you can apply to the plane mirror, right? But when it comes to the curved mirrors, even in the case of plane mirror, we need to use the sign convection. So magnification would be better defined on the basis of sign convection. Let us see how. So AB by A dash B dash, AB it is the height of the object, height of the image. BP is the object distance, and B dash P, it is the image distance V, right? So this is the another relationship for the magnification, just for the magnification. If you talk about the plane mirror, right? So for plane mirror, this relationship 1 and 2 holds good. Let us try to check it out, that in the case of the plane mirror, right, virtual image is formed. When the virtual image is formed, height of the object is positive, height of the image is also positive, object distance is negative, and image distance is positive. So this will be the relationship of the magnification in the case of the plane mirror. from this, right, the sine of the hi by h naught, it is height of the image to that of the height of the object. So from the sine of this, we will say that the magnification is positive. Next, let us see, try to apply these formulas for the concave mirror. Now, concave mirror, it forms two types of the images, real as well as virtual. So, let us try to see, in case of the concave mirror, what can we conclude when the image is real and what can we conclude when the image is virtual. So, when the image is real, right, when the image is real, image will be negative, object will be positive, right? In case of the real, the image is on the downward side, so as per sign convention, negative. Object is on the upward side, so as per the sign convention, its value will be positive. Talking about the sign of u and v, u will be measured in opposite direction of the incident ray. So u will be negative as well as v also will be measured in opposite direction of the incident ray. So both of them will be negative. So ultimately we have from the sine of hi by h naught, the magnification will be negative. In case of the virtual, if we try to identify the signs, right, virtual image, so in case of the virtual image, both of them are on the top of the principal axis, so both of them will be positive. Object distance, it is negative, right, whereas the image distance, image will be formed somewhere here, so image distance will be positive. Once again, from the sign of this, magnification is positive. So this is how, if the value of the magnification is given, so from the sign, right, in case also if the sign is given to you that magnification is negative, you should clearly able to identify that it is the case of real image. If the sign is given positive, for clearly you should identify that is the case of virtual image. To identify which mirror, right, these signs may be helpful to you, right, or the information given in the question, from that you should identify whether it is a concave or a convex mirror. For magnification, the third case, in the case of the convex mirror always forms the virtual image. So in case of the virtual image, if we try to apply hi by h naught and v by u, hi will be positive and h naught will also be positive. Image distance v will be positive but u will be negative. So once again, the magnification is positive. So that is about the linear magnification. And then next we have is a relationship between the speed of object and image. This is also a useful concept applicable when the question is of the type that you are running towards the mirror, then with what speed your image is also running towards you. So such type of questions, when you are required to compare the speed of the object and image, this concept would be useful. So from the mirror formula, we have that 1 upon u plus 1 upon v is equals to 1 upon f. Differentiating with respect to time, since we need speed, we'll differentiate it with respect to time. Differentiation of 1 upon x, I'll write down the formula over here in bracket. It is minus 1 upon x square. So using this relation here, right, differentiation we want with respect to time, so it would be minus 1 upon u square du by dt. It would be a implicit function. Differentiation of u with respect to time. So differentiation of x with respect to differentiation of 1 by x with respect to x is minus 1 upon x square. Same way here, differentiation of u with respect to time will be minus 1 upon u square. This term will be added up because it is an implicit function. I am not going into much detail what do we mean by implicit function. Differentiation of 1 upon v will be minus 1 upon v square dv by dt. Focal length is constant, it's going to be 0. For given mirror, focal length is not going to change, only u and v are going to change. As I am running towards the mirror, object distance and image distance will change, so 1 upon f it is 0. This thing further, if you write it down, it will be 1 upon u square du by dt will be equal to minus 1 upon v square dv by dt. This is the relationship between the speed of the object and speed of the image. Du by dt, it is nothing but the object speed, and dv by dt, it is nothing but the image speed. So this is how we represent the speed between u and v. Next one we have is uses of mirrors, uses of curved mirrors. Curved mirror, the first use I would like to discuss is of a convex mirror. Convex mirror, it is used in the street lights. So if I draw the diagram, street light is somewhat like this. So here you have a convex mirror, right? And then exactly here you at focus you have a bulb, and this is a glass covering. Whatever rays are given out from the bulb will strike the mirror, and convex mirror, being the diverging mirror, it will spread up the light to the wider area. So convex mirrors are used as a reflectors in the street light. They brighten up the area. Convex mirrors are also used in rear view mirror of a vehicles. When you are driving vehicle, right, if you want to see on the back side, we have a rear view mirror on the dashboard, as well as we have rear view mirrors on the doors. So how exactly they work? So let's say this is your rear view mirror. If you observe it, right, you will be able to get a very big, you will be able to cover a very big area into a very small part. Right, so you can see even if the two trucks are coming from behind or multiple vehicles are coming from behind, such wide view you have. So convex mirrors, they are also used in the rear view mirror of the vehicles. Then we have other uses also. Concave mirrors. Concave mirror, it produces a parallel beam of the light. So if we talk about the use of concave mirrors, since they can produce a parallel beam of the light, they are used in torches. How? So in case of the torch, right, you have a concave mirror over here. Yes, concave mirror over here. If I shade it up, it would be more understandable. Concave mirror over here, the bulb is exactly here. The rays of light coming out becomes parallel to the principal axis. So this is the arrangement of the torch. You have a perfect parallel beam which travels a very long distance. Then another we have you in ophthalmoscope for reflecting light onto the retina of the eye, may be used by the opticians. Concave mirror is also used as a head mirror by ENT specialists, right? They want to see inside of the ears, maybe magnified form, so they make use of the concave mirror. Concave mirror is also used as a shaving glass, right? Concave mirror, it gives us a it's used as a shaving glass. It gives a very broad and a very clear view of your cheek. So these are some of the uses of mirrors, and here we end the topic of mirrors, curved mirrors, reflection.